Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be looking at a band that I am familiar with. I've never actually reacted to on this channel, and if I'm completely honest, I've not actually listened to their music in quite a long time, and it is the band Filter. Now, I like this band. I remember many years ago being introduced to the album Title of Record. And I'll be honest, I've not actually listened to any of their stuff since then, but Title of Record is actually quite possibly one of my favourite albums. You know, I think it's an absolutely brilliant piece of work. Specifically, the track Cancer is actually my favourite track off the album. I think it's a brilliant piece of music. I love the sound of the band. I think they're just very good. Now, as is my usual, I like to do a little bit of research about the band, and I've never actually really researched Filter very much. I know a little bit, but not too much. So, for anybody who's not familiar with the band, Filter is an American rock band formed in 1993 in Cleveland, Ohio, by singer Richard Patrick and guitarist and programmer Brian Leesgang. I hope I pronounced that right. Now, you notice the name in there, Richard Patrick. He's the lead singer. He is the brother of Terminator 2 star Robert Patrick, which is pretty cool. But anyway, the band was formed when Patrick desired to start his own band after leaving 9 Inch Nails as their touring guitarist. Now, I never actually knew that. I didn't know he was part of 9 Inch Nails, but I can kind of see it given the style of music, although that being said, I'm not a big fan of 9 Inch Nails. Their debut album Short Bus was released in 1995 and ended up going platinum largely due to the success of the single Hey Man, Nice Shot, which is perhaps one of their, if not their best known track to date. You know, it's a very popular track. After this album, the band went through the first of many lineup changes, leaving Patrick as the only consistent member across all releases. After Leesgang's departure in 1997, Patrick recorded a follow-up album with the Short Bus touring band members, who became full-time members thereafter, resulting in 1999's Title of Record. So the only album of theirs I've actually really listened to is their second album. I've heard tracks from other albums since then, but I've never actually listened to full albums. So that album also went platinum, driven by the success of the song Take a Picture, which is a good track. The third album, The Amalgamate, was released in 2002 with the same members, though sales stalled with Patrick checking into rehab after years of heavy alcohol and drug abuse, just as touring for the album began. The band went into hiatus whilst Patrick was in rehab, and then formed a new band, Army of Anyone, which released one self-titled album. After Army of One went in hiatus, Patrick returned to Filter, releasing Anthems for the Damned in 2008, The Trouble with Angels 2010, The Sun Comes Out Tonight in 2013. With a revolving door of different musicians, a seventh studio album, Crazy Eyes, recorded with Patrick and another entirely new lineup, was released in 2016. In 2018, Brian Leesgang returned to the band to work on a new album. Rebus was meant to musically be the follow-up to Short Bus, but due to the Pledge Music bankruptcy, Rebus was shelved, and Patrick has since been working on the new album, The Algorithm, scheduled for release in August 2023. And it's a track off that album that we're going to look at today. It's a brand new track by them. I say brand new. It's been out for maybe a week or two now, called Obliteration. Now, as I said, the last full album of theirs I listened to was obviously Take a Picture from back in 1999, but I have heard tracks of theirs over the years, so, you know, I do know that the sound will have changed a bit. But from what I know, you know, the sound isn't all that far different. And of course, Patrick's vocal style, you know, as he's gotten older, it will have changed perhaps slightly, but nothing too drastic. So I'm actually quite looking forward to this, because like I said, it's been a while since I've listened to some Filter. So we'll jump into this and see what we've got. So, Obliteration by Filter. Have a look.
drain, and now it's all that's left. All that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb, and I'm just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. I think I'm losing my head. There's nothing left to be said. I think I lost control of my sanity. There's nothing left in my soul, it's my enemy. Ashes circle the drain, and now it's all that's left. All that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb, and I'm just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. I'm good at lighting the fire until it turns into a pyre. I feel it burning my lungs. I taste the blood on my tongue. Enough is never enough until there's nothing there. Ashes circle the drain, and now it's all that's left. All that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb, and I'm just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Ashes circle the drain. Now that's all that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb. Just one step from obliteration. Ashes circle the drain, and now it's all that's left. All that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb, and I'm just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Obliteration.
That's cute. I like that. I like that. I like the way that video ended. That was quite wholesome. That was a great track. It might have felt maybe a little bit repetitive, but I mean, I still think it was a very, very good piece of music. And having listened to that and thinking back to things like Title of Record, you know, the sound hasn't really changed that much. And something I've always liked about this band is they lean in to the sound of the bass guitar. I've mentioned this on many, many occasions. The fact that a lot of bands, when they're like mixing the final track, the bass guitar sort of seems to just disappear into the background. You don't really hear it that much. But with Filter, you always seem to be able to hear the bass quite well. And that's something I really like about them, because I love the sound of a bass guitar. And, you know, the overall sound of the track, it doesn't sound all that dissimilar from, you know, I'm going to keep comparing it to Title of Record, because that, like I said, that's the last full album that I listened to. And you know, whilst I say I haven't listened to Filter in a long time, and that was the last album I listened to, I still listen to it fairly regularly. You know, I listened to the album some point earlier this year, I know that much. You know, because I really enjoy the album. So, the sound isn't all that dissimilar. There's a certain there's a certain rhythm to their music, which seems to be consistent throughout all of their music, but still manages to be different somehow, if you get my meaning. It's different from track to track, but it's still recognizably Filter. It's a kind of style to their music that is recognizable as Filter. You can tell the band just by a certain way that the music's done. As for Richard Patrick's vocals, again, it sounds pretty much sounds pretty much the same as back in 1999 with Title of Record. It doesn't seem to be as harsh of an edge on some of his vocals, but that being said, this doesn't sound like a song that called for that. Because there are, shall we say, softer vocal tracks on Title of Record. There's still that sort of grit and that maybe little bit of aggression in his vocals in this track, and they're not as harsh as they can be. Like I said, it could well be, like I said, that this song didn't necessarily call for that. They might resurface in other tracks on this album. I don't know. Now, the actual track itself was very well explained throughout the video, and it seems to be talking about like the destruction, the downfall of society, the destruction of society, and the effect it's having on people. Because we're watching the world around us turn to shit, and like there's people living in, and their mental states are deteriorating. More and more people are getting diagnosed with things like depression and anxiety and stuff like that because of the state of the world around us. And throughout the video, there was that small girl like watching like the city explode, this big sort of smoke demon climbing out of this crater, and then at the end, she pushes herself out to sea in a little boat to try and escape from it all. And throughout the entire video, she's carrying this box, and at the end, it's revealed that it's a small kitten. So it's like she's trying to save the one good thing in her life. The one thing that makes her happy, something that brings her joy. She doesn't want the state of the world where she's living to destroy that one pure good thing that she has, that she enjoys. She wants to keep that thing pure and beautiful and happy. I quite like the way that the video sort of demonstrated the actual meaning of the song. Now, the song opens with the chorus, "Ashes circle the drain, and now it's all that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb. I'm just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration." So it says there, ashes circle the drain, and now it's all that's left. So, there's been that massive destruction, and there's just ashes left, and even now the ashes are disappearing. They're circling the drain and sort of disappearing. So everything that once existed seems to be just disappearing. Everything that we might have once enjoyed just seems to be, the world seems to be so aggressive and hateful and violent. You've got things like rampant racism still going on in the world. This sort of thing should have disappeared decades ago. But it's made a big resurgence in recent history, and it's something that really needs to change. There's so much aggression in the world. Everybody has to find a reason to complain or argue about everything. People aren't allowed to enjoy things anymore. If someone puts up a video of something nice and wholesome, there's always going to be some group of people who are going to find some way to degrade it, some way to argue about it, some way to find conflict in nothing. There's always going to be those people. So it's like people just can't enjoy anything anymore. Like, for example, a couple of days ago, the Barbie movie came out. There are people who are absolutely going to love that. It's not my thing. I'm not ever planning on seeing it because, it doesn't interest me. But I'm not going to sit there and shit on it and make the people who enjoyed it feel bad about enjoying it. But there are people out there who are going to do that. They're going to try and find any possible way to make someone feel miserable about something that they enjoy. And, that's what he seems to be saying. It's like, everything that we enjoy is just turning to ashes, and all we've got left is misery and depression. You know, and with all the conflicts going on, with all wars, racism, homophobia, this sort of thing, the world just seems to be a hate-filled place at the moment. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb, and I'm just one step from obliteration. Watching the world go numb, there's a certain level of apathy about things now. We're so used to seeing all this hate and anger and suffering that, it's just become a common way of life. And we shouldn't have to deal with that. We shouldn't have to sit there and live in misery. We should all be working together to live happy, fulfilling lives. We shouldn't be pushing everybody down. We should be lifting each other up, sort of thing. Anyway, it carries on. I think I'm losing my head. There's nothing left to be said. I think I lost control of my sanity. There's nothing left of my soul. It's my enemy. So again, I'm losing my head. It's driving me mad. Watching the world destroy itself. We should be working together to lead happy, peaceful existences. I think I've lost my sanity. It's driving me crazy. And again, all these bad things that are happening in the world are affecting people's mental states. Like I said, more and more people are being diagnosed with depression and anxiety disorders because that's all that there is in the world at the moment. Well, that's all there is in the world. There are still good things happening in the world, but there's so many bad and negative things in the world, it's hard to find the good things. Which again leads to that little girl with the cat at the end. She found something good, something fun, something she enjoys, something that she loves, and she's trying to protect it at all costs. There's nothing left of my soul. It's my enemy. His soul's being crushed. It's being destroyed by this oppressive misery that's encapsulating the world. Then it goes back into that chorus. Ashes circle the drain, and now it's all that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb, and I'm just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. I'm good at lighting the fire until it turns into a pyre. I feel it burning my lungs. I taste the blood on my tongue. Enough is never enough until there's nothing. Now, I like that last couple of lines there. So, I'm good at lighting the fire until it turns into a pyre. So, is that like the fire inside? I'm good at igniting my own passions, maybe, until it turns, until it becomes an all-consuming thing. This all-consuming passion to find something good. Maybe, I feel the burning in my lungs and taste the blood on my tongue. I'm not too sure. Burning in my lungs, maybe getting that fire in your belly, wanting to breathe life into things, wanting to find something pure, maybe. Or maybe he's talking about, that, feel the blood burning in my lungs and blood on my tongue. Again, talking about the destruction of all the things that they like. I'm not sure. But this last line, enough is never enough until there's nothing. And this seems to be sort of pointing more towards the idea of greed, especially in the 1%ers of the world. I mentioned in a video not so long ago, I think, it's about 2-3 videos ago. You've got all these corrupt politicians that are sitting there swimming in money, not avoiding paying taxes because they're so rich they don't need to pay taxes, which is kind of backwards, and us normal people are the ones having to foot the bill for them. And there's so much greed in these people. They just want more and more and more. Enough is never enough. They might have everything they could ever possibly need in the world, but still they want more. You've got things like I think it's Shell. It was either Shell or BP oil company. A year or two ago, they said their profits were so high they didn't know what to do with their money. They had so much money they didn't know what to do with it. But still, fuel prices are skyrocketing, so they're charging more, making more money, and they've already got more than they know what to do with. You know, so they still want more and more and more. Enough is never enough. And they're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep draining these resources until there's nothing left. Which is what he says, you know, enough is never enough until there's nothing. Then the chorus again, ashes circle the drain, and now it's all that's left of me. Sink my teeth into pain, watching the world go numb, and I'm just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Just one step from obliteration. Then it goes into the bridge. Ashes circle the drain, now it's all that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb, just one step from obliteration. So it's essentially just the chorus, just sung in a slightly different way within the track. And then it goes back into that chorus. Ashes circle the drain, now it's all that's left of me. Sink my teeth in the pain, watching the world go numb, I'm just one step from obliteration. And it was towards the end of the final chorus here that you could feel a little more of the grit of his voice coming. You know, there was a little more of that aggression, you know, where it seems like the culmination of his anger and his frustration sort of coming together, you know, and he's just so fed up with the state of things, you know. So, like I say, it was a really, really good track. I really liked it, and I loved the video that went along with it because it illustrated the meaning of the song very, very well. I need to get back into listening to Filter. You know, like I said, I do enjoy listening to their music. Like I say, I listen to Title of Record fairly regularly. You know, I listen to it like a couple of times every year. But I should really explore outside of that one album. Like I said, I've heard one or two other tracks from other albums over the years, but I've never actually sat down and listened to a full album other than Title of Record, which, you know, I think is it's an almost perfect album in my opinion. You know, it's one of my favourite albums. So, you know, I do need to investigate. Well, I wouldn't say investigate. I do need to expand my listening to Filter, I should think. And, you know, I'd like to hear this album once it comes out, because, I mean, this was a very good track. It reminded me of something. It reminded me of another piece of music, and I couldn't place my finger on what it was. And it's actually bothering me, because there's something about the rhythm of it, the way it was sung, it reminded me of something else, but I can't place my finger on it. But, you know, it was a good piece of music. I really, really enjoyed it, you know, and like I say, I need to expand my catalogue of Filter music, I think. But I don't know what else I can say about that, so I'll leave that as it is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribe, because it really, really would help me out. You know, I'm putting in all the time and effort to make these videos, and they're just sort of getting lost within the YouTube algorithm because people aren't liking, subscribing, or even watching the whole video. You know, so give it a like or subscribe. It would really, really help me out, because at the moment, only about 9.5%, maybe even 10% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed. Yeah, you know, and as a result, my videos aren't getting noticed. You know, people are messaging me saying, you know, I've just found this video that I wanted you to make, and it, you know, it was from 5 months ago, and they're only just finding it now because it's just disappearing. You know, so a like and subscribe would really, really help me out. It takes a fraction of a second. It doesn't cost you anything. So yeah, if you could like and subscribe, it would really, really help me out. Thank you very much. And yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.